and tweak this. All right, so hopefully everyone had a wonderful Valentine weekend. We did, of course, have a wonderful one at SKELEC. We did something that it was our second time doing the version of it, whereby we went out and we handed out what we call love baskets. We did it the first time last year because of COVID and how we had to because these baskets are something that we usually give out in December, but then COVID and everything. We just didn't get to do it in December, and then we decided to tweak it a little bit, and then we decided, okay, why not just give it to farmer employees and do it in February and call it love baskets. So this year we chose 6 persons who we went out on Friday and we presented them with our love baskets. Just a form to say, just a way of us to say thank you to our former employees. It's always good to give back to those who came before us and those who made it possible for us to even be here and made it possible for SKELEC to be the type of company that it was. Even though most of this person didn't work for quote-unquote SKELEC, they work for the St. Kitts Electricity Department, but they still work under what we do today. So we first started off with, we journeyed over to Harris's, whereby we surprised Mr. Curtly Brown, better known as Colbert. And we met him at his workplace and we presented him with a basket. Then we came back into town. We went to Mr. Emmanuel Morris, known as Malcolm X. He worked as a driver for SKED. Curtly was a meter reader, And then we went down to the Biffront. No, we didn't go down to the Biffront yet. We went to Barman, actually. Went over to Barman Henley. That's where we went to. So we went down to Barman. Let me give you his current name, James Henley, known as Barman. So we went down to Barman and we presented them with his love basket. Then we went down to Dumpling. We had to make sure we called her Dumpling, Miss Lydia Manners, and we presented her with hers. Then we went to Sandy Point and we presented Mr. Edmiston Lewis, a.k.a. Ricky, with his, and then we finished off the day with Miss Janet Nias. So those were our 6 former employees who we presented with love baskets over the weekend. And we just want to say really a very special thank you to our staff members who came together and donated towards this project, and also thanks to the company who supplemented the rest of the donation with giving us some funds so that we were able to go out and purchase items and purchase a basket. I want to say thank you to the persons who worked with putting the baskets together. Thank you to the team who provided transportation and everyone who came out and did their part and went along with us and visited the persons. It was really nice to see farm employees. Most of them, they were way before me, but it was really nice to see, and I'm pretty sure they were happy to see us and, know that it's nice for something. It's nice for us to give back. So giving back is always a good thing, so just again, thank you. And then our deferred payment arrangement. Now, remember, we had Slash Your Ways. We had a special that ran from the 1st of January until the 14th, technically the 12th. I'm sorry, the 1st of February. Wow. The 1st of February until the 14th of February, whereby persons were able to join the DPA. Now, the DPA is basically your deferred payment arrangement. As I tell most persons, it's best if you think of it as a way of, think of it like a hire purchase agreement. You need a hire purchase from one of these, you need to hire purchase an item from one of these companies. It's practical the same way. You need to help with your arrears. You come in, you speak with us, we'll work with you, we'll put you on a plan. Basically, when you hire purchase an item, they give you X amount of, you pay per month, per week, whatever, over X amount of months. That's the same way we are doing with our deferred payment arrangement, right? But we had a special that ran from the 1st of February until the 12th, whereby persons were able to tell us what they want their deposit to be. Just like in HP, you say what you want your deposit to be. You get a deposit. They tell you, pay them $500 and pay $20 a week. After that, we were doing the same thing, whereby we were saying, you tell us how much you want to pay down, and then we would work out a plan for you over X amount of period of time. Now, the plan is up to 36 months. We've had some issues whereby persons are is thinking that, okay, well, I only owe whatever, say $2,000, I want to pay that over 36 months. No, we won't do that, because 2,000 over 36 months is really stretching it, you know. So it's up to 36 months. We'll determine the amount of months we'll give you to pay it off, but you, at that time, you were telling us, okay, I want to pay down $100, $150, $200 to start the plan, and then have X amount of months to pay it off. That went well. We're asking persons who weren't able to be a part of that program to still continue, to still come in, still visit us, still come in, speak with us, tell us what you would like. Tell us, okay, I'm having some issues with my bill. I didn't, I might be out of a job, whatever the case is. It might be before that, because the cases that we are seeing is like, it's not like persons who are out of a job from like last year, due to COVID or whatever. It's prior to that, right? So we're asking persons to come and speak with us. We speak to our debt management team. We have 3 members, which is Miss Iselma Isaac, Miss Carrie Dunward, and Miss Brenda Lewis, right? So you could speak to those 3 and just discuss it with them. They would listen to you, they would hear you out, and they would come up with a plan that will work for you. Now remember, when you're part of that plan, right, you still have to be current. So you still have to make sure that you're paying your current bill. So if you had owed $15,000, and when you get your bill, because your bill now it wouldn't show you owe $15,000, it would say you have to pay, your deferred payment might be $200, and your current bill might be $70, so that's $270 you have to pay. You can't choose to pay the $200 and don't pay the $70, because then you'll just be putting yourself back in bad standing, right? So it's our way of helping you manage your way out of debt and manage your way out of SKELEC's debt, right? So that is one thing that we are hoping that persons do continue to come in, do continue to join us, join the program. Tell others about it. Don't be shy, whatever the case is. Just come in and speak to us about it, because it is very important that you do that, because we really need to get persons to understand that it's not SKELEC like running you down for money or whatever the case is, and we don't be doing disconnections, whatever it is. We just want you to know that join this to prevent yourself from getting disconnected. It is really a good way to prevent yourself from getting disconnected. We've also had persons who we've assisted with a better way of managing the uses of electricity by, when they join this, we'll switch into prepaid plan. So what we're doing with the prepaid is that we when you join, we would then put you on prepaid. With prepaid is very much like what you know as topping up your phone. You're topping up your meter, you're powering up your meter, as we call it. You then will be putting, say your bill is $200 a month, and we decide, okay, you divide that over 30 days, so you know what your average per day is. You can say, okay, I'm going to put on $200, I'm going to put on $100. That does not mean that at the end of the month your $200 will finish. It just means that you could manage it, and you could you could get $150 out of the entire month, because it's really up to you and how you use it. But it helps you to manage, because then you can see how much you use per day. You can say, okay, well, I'm using $5 a day. What can I do to cut it down to use $4 a day, or whatever the case is? So it helps you to manage your electricity a lot better. And by going to prepaid, then you'll know, well, hey, I have to pay this amount. I have to pay my old balance and my current balance to make sure my electricity is on. So the onus is on you to become a lot more responsible when it comes to paying us, when it comes to keeping your electricity on. So if you're out there and you want to learn more about this, you can give us a call at 465-2000, customer services extension 7230, or you can just go through the dial and just hit 2. But yeah, customer service 7230, so you can go through, speak to someone in customer service, you can come in. We are doing some updates on our website that should be ready hopefully in a few weeks from now. But yeah, so ask us, find out how best we can help you and how best we can assist you in pushing and getting getting your bill in order, your accounts in order. Another thing is that we are thinking we are pushing persons who are renting to get their, how should I put it, to get the persons who are renting with them, their tenants, on prepaid. Prepaid is a good deal because what happens is that with prepaid, you don't have to make a deposit. You sign up for prepaid, you don't have to make a deposit. If you sign up regularly and you're renting, you have to pay a deposit. The deposit varies based on what is inside your house and all this kind of stuff, and how much electricity we think you'll be using over a 3-month period. Then we'll tell you that's what your deposit is. You make the deposit, you get your electricity. Right? But with prepaid, you don't have to make a deposit because we don't have to hold anything, because we know that if you don't pay your electricity, the meter will disconnect. Right, so there's no deposit to be made. So we ask them, like persons who are renting, to get their tenants switch over, because we do have issues, and we still having issues. No matter how much time we come here, we speak about it. We still have issues whereby persons end up with situations whereby the bill is in their name, the tenant leaves, don't pay the bill, and they end up being responsible because SKELEC can't go after your tenant. SKELEC does not have an arrangement, a contract with your tenant. They have a contract, an arrangement with you. So if your name is on the bill and the bill isn't being paid, SKELEC comes after you, not your tenant. So we're asking persons to really do make that switch, get their tenant's name on it. It's very easy. You don't have to always, every time your tenant change either, you don't even have to always come in. If the meter is prepaid even, so much better. You don't even have to come in every time your tenant move out. So like if you have students and every time the student move out or they go back, whatever the case is, you have to come into SKELEC, stand up in line to get that person on, the new person on. It's just prepaid. When the person leave, they leave. The next person come in, there's continue the system, does continue making payment, so that's it. Again, we would like to apologize. We know on the 14th, right? Yeah, we lost some persons on the KM field lost some electricity service on the night of Valentine's, and we saw a whole bunch of jokes about it, about how SKELEC is turning off people light on Valentine, but that's not the case. What happened is, and it's very strange, what we found out later, we found out about after 7 in the morning, was that a balloon, a helium balloon, flew up in the HV lines. That's on the feeder, in the Frigate area or somewhere like that. And it caused the feeder to trip. And that caused persons to be out of power. So yeah, something as simple as a balloon, a helium balloon, happy birthday, I love you, whatever was on it. A helium balloon actually caused that, So again, we're asking persons to be very careful. Don't let go of your balloons in the line. All those little simple things can actually cause us to lose power and can actually cause the place to be out without power. So we had a few hundred persons without power overnight, and it was because of that. So yeah, just, we're asking persons just be a little bit more mindful, and especially when they're driving too, and our guys are outside on the road. We have some complaints whereby the guys say, Gavin, when you go on the radio, when you guys go on the radio, please make mention to the persons, and especially when they see like emergency vehicles and stuff like that, to drive a little bit more carefully, especially our cable crews, because remember our cable crew work on the ground, so, and they work close to substations. Some of the substation and switches are close to the road. So we're asking persons to drive a lot more carefully. Just drive carefully in general, but especially when you see persons on the road, and even the folks you see on the road cutting the grass, drive a little bit more carefully. And so I think I've covered it. Our love basket, thank you. Deferred payment. And remember, it is still open, so we're asking persons to come out and make those payments. And just be a little bit more mindful as well. And I heard we have some cards, so we will take a few cards.
Well, they're not there at the moment, but okay. They can. The number to call is 465-2555. You can always call back and get your questions in. Mm-hmm. Over to you.
Okay. So yeah. So just to touch up again, prepaid. If you need to know a little bit more about prepaid and how you can sign up, 465-2000 extension 7230 would put you straight to our customer service department. And okay.
So you're gonna defer to
Yes.
to him and then come back to
and
the
then
calls?
come back to the calls, yeah.
All right. So well, hold on. He just walked in. So at least take these two
Okay,
calls.
let me take the 2 calls.
And then
Okay.
you can always get back over to your guest.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I was just listening. I did not hear everything, but I heard about coming in and you can pay over a 36-month period and whatnot. Anyway, my concern is, does this apply to small businesses also?
Commercial well, okay. It's funny. If the meter is a commercial meter, as in if the meter is actually registered as a business, the answer is no. I'm sorry, it doesn't apply to commercial customers.
But do you all realize that small businesses are having a lot of problems right now?
Yeah, I think we do. But what I'm saying is the deferred payment might not apply to you, but still do come in and speak to us. I'm not saying because what I was addressing was the deferred payment arrangement, which is something that we put together for our residential customers.
Yeah,
but,
I understand
but I would not.
Yeah. But you said I could still come in.
Yeah, I would advise you to still come in though, because it's always best to come in and speak with us. And let us see what we can do. And in all honesty, I do understand what you're speaking about when you speak about small business.
Who can I come in and speak?
Just come in. Go to window number 1, which is the customer service window, and then they would then direct you to someone on the inside.
Okay,
so you can just come in. Yeah,
much.
no problem.
Thank you.
All right. And the second caller before you speak with your guest. Good morning.
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 I want to know what is pulleys. When the meter reader come, after showing reading my meter, she said a pulleys.
Okay.
So listen off here.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I understand what you mean. You mean that we literally remote read your meter, so the information gets pulled into our system then. So that most likely what you mean, because we don't have to go out and read the meters manually. Eh? Well, most meters we don't have to go out and read the meter. The information is sent from the meter to our system remotely. So that is how the meters are read. So if you're not seeing a meter reader, it doesn't mean that your meter is not being read. But if you do feel that your meter isn't being read, you could always take a photo of the meter, come in, give it to us. But trust me, your meter is actually being read. And to confirm that your meter is read, when you look at your bill, they would have an A and an E next to your meter reading. If you see an E, that means your meter is being estimated, so it's 99% chance that it's not being read. And if you see an A, that means it's an actual read. So whether it is read manually by one of our meter readers or by the system, the information is sent from the meter directly to the system, then it's an actual read. So if you speak with one of our meter readers and say the information is pulled in, that basically what it means. They mean that the information is actually being read by the system, so we don't need to actually come out and do a manual read. Now, I have with me, I don't know, should I call your government name? And call your government name. Ian Walters. Mr. Walters will discuss, as usual, metering issues. There's one question I need to ask Mr. Walters. I need him to clear the air with, because we have some persons saying that SKELEC isn't doing this and that. So the first question I will, cutting out there. The first question I will ask is, if a person is building, they have a new connection, right? They are building new connection, the post is nearby, and they want to run the electricity underground from their house up the post. What is the procedure?
Well, good morning to everyone. Concerning the new supplies, we're trying to avoid right now the underground connections. We're more focusing on the overhead connections and bringing the supplies out into the fence. For a temporary supply, what we normally will do is come out and check the location in terms of where the supply is going to be placed. Some people put it on our poles. We're trying to avoid that now. We'll prefer if they put a 4x4 just a few feet away from the fence on the inside of the property and set up the temporary supply, which is a main switch, outlet, and a ground rod.
Okay.
With the necessaries.
But you're saying that they then do that. But what after they finish, they completing building, they're ready to come in, we're doing the permanent supply.
That's the upgrade of the supply.
The upgrade
to
of
the
the
property.
supply. Uh-huh.
The upgrade will be in the fence. We prefer in the fence, and the height will be 6 feet maximum, 5 feet minimum in height for the supply. And we prefer that you use a 2-inch metal pipe in the air with a weatherhead.
Okay.
But also inside of that weather pipe, that 2-inch pipe, we would like you to put a insulated conduit inside that pipe, and you pull the wires inside of it, and then the weatherhead goes on top.
Okay. And you leave that out, and that's the connection that we think.
Yes.
So it's no more one up we post.
No, we're trying to avoid that as much as possible because we have a pole could get rotten at any time, and we have to remove it. We also have spike men climbing the poles right now, and that is obstructing the guys when they're going out on the poles.
Okay, good. So that's covered because that was a concern that persons had, right? Okay. Next question. I'm coming in. I've just gotten a piece of land from whoever, by privately, sustainable development or whoever. I ready to start construction. What's the first thing I need to do?
In terms of new supply, you have to go in with all the necessary documents, proof of ownership of the land. Once that is done, all the necessary is done at the main office. Then they will send the application to our department, and we will come out into the field and check the site to see if they have the infrastructure in place already. And once the infrastructure is in, then we will do the estimate, send back the estimate down to the main office, and then the clerk will call you and let you know, well, the estimate is ready and what the cost is.
Okay. So clerks will call, let us know that estimate is ready, what the cost is. The cost and on the customer end, what is required on the customer end before we do that part? Because they're going to come in, but like the space of waiting for us to do the inspection. When we come out and do the inspection, what we're expecting to see from the customers?
Oh, we are expecting to see, once it's for construction, we're expecting to see a temporary supply in place, which is the main switch and outlet, and it is grounded and everything.
Okay, so that's the part. And then we approve, basically.
We approve, we do the estimate, take it back down to main office, and then main office will call the customer and let them know that the estimate is ready.
So they come in and pay?
They will come in and pay.
Okay. Which part then involves the government inspectors? Because we've had some interaction with customers saying that they're waiting for some inspection to happen. They finished building, so they're waiting for the inspection to happen. So which part is that?
Okay. That will be for the upgrade of the supply to the premises after the completion of construction. What will happen is that we will metering department will check on the outside of the premises, which is the location where the meter is going to go. What we have to approve that where the meter will be located, it's correct, the height and the size of wire and everything.
Okay.
The public works inspector, he will go on the inside.
Oh.
And he will do all the necessary checks in all the bedrooms, the kitchen, the bathrooms, and make sure that the circuits are correct and the transformers, everything is grounded and everything. Once that is done, the inspector will give the okay, will pass the property, give us the okay to put power into the property.
Okay. So until then, no power going in the property?
No, we're not supposed to put power into the property unless the inspector from Public Works did the internal inspection. But what some people does is they go and use the temporary supply
Forever.
And they connect for a check. And sometimes it's a temporary permanent connection. So sometimes we have temporary supplies for months.
Yeah. Yeah, a long time.
So what we're trying to appeal to the public or the electricians is when you're doing construction once the job is completed, make sure that the contractor and you liaise and make preparations for the location where the meter is supposed to go permanent. Because we realize a lot of times some of the customers will come back and say, oh, the money run out and all that stuff, and then they have a temporary supply.
Yeah.
And it's very dangerous.
Oh, okay, got you. So when we do the temporary supplies, really, and that's the same thing you were speaking about earlier when you have the whole weatherhead and everything mounted and all that kind of stuff. So all we're doing is come in, putting the meter in the permanent spot that you're going to be in.
Yes, that will be the upgrade of the supply. So temporary, after completion of the construction, it will be an upgrade. You will come back in and make a payment of $75, payment for the upgrade of supply to property, and then we will come inspect again, and then we'll do the necessary changes.
Okay, cool. That now, because I think persons do get mixed up with that because, and then we have what we call a temporary supply. Like if you're having an event and you need a temporary supply now, how does that work? Like somebody having an event, say over on Frigate Belon. What they do? They come in to us and they apply for a temporary supply for the event.
Yes, what normally will happen for that type of upgrade is if you're having a function in an area that you don't really have power, you come in and you make your requests and you pay a $45 for the day to have the supply connected, and then you will have your function. That's basically for that temporary supply.
Okay, good. So then we start out with that. And
One
go
more thing. A lot of people do renovations, and during renovations on the front of the house, the meter is on the property still, and the contractors don't let the owner know that during construction you have to come to the office, and the electrician has to make the preparation, the temporary supply, while construction is before construction start, because you don't want when you're building up. Now you wait until the last minute to come to SKELEC and say, I need my supply move.
yeah,
That we keep having problems like that. Or sometimes they don't come and then they damage the meter, and when they damage the meter, it's a cost
yep,
to the customer.
over $1,000. I can tell you that it's over $1,000.
Exactly.
So we know, so we really need persons to know if you're doing any work on your house whereby the meter gonna be concerned, come in, let's move the meter. Next thing is, I'm gonna add on to that, is when the supply is coming in to the house, like somebody, they might do work on the roof or something like that, and when they need the supply to be moved, they still have to come in.
Yes, they have to come in.
Good. So just want to cover all that so that at least they know when they need the supply to be moved, they have to come in and request that we remove the supply. So what we try to get persons to understand is that the meter really, well, it's just a fact. The meter belongs to SKELEC. The poles belongs to SKELEC, and we're trying to ensure that persons don't put anything on the poles and don't do anything to our meters. Right? So any kind of movement, anything like that, you should come in and let us know that you'll be doing these things. All right? Commercial customers, though, same thing they go through.
Commercial
if it's
customers,
slightly different, if it's
a slight difference.
If it's a 3-phase and stuff like that.
It's a slight difference with a commercial. It depends. Sometimes commercial, they will request they make payment for a transformer to be installed. That is something different. So that will be a more or less underground system.
Okay. Yeah, those, like if they put it on a big commercial property and stuff like that. Okay. And then, so we covered the residential part, we covered stuff in metering. Anything else in metering you want to touch? I see you brought your notes.
What normally, in terms of metering, we also do something you call a Kva assessment.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something for the business, on the business end. The residential is a $13, which is a standing charge. On the commercial end, it's a demand charge. what happened is that we normally will come out and do an assessment. If you're just moving into having a new business, we will come, depends on what the supply is. We will check and see, we'll do basically, let's say, for example, our minimum for 3-phase supply will be a 3 kVA.
Okay.
In 4 months' time, when you're having a full thing going, we will come back and do what you call a reassessment. So now, when we come and do the reassessment now, it's based on what you're using.
Mm-hmm.
When we put on our instrument, or the meter itself will be able to give us the maximum demand in terms of what you're using, and we'll use that. It either goes up or it will remain the same.
Okay. Okay, good. So then we got that part, and we covered our commercial customers, 3-phase customers, covered the pole issue, because that keep coming up with persons with pole. We want to mention anything with anyone with generator, because persons would ask, well, if they have a generator, if they have to come in and tell SKELEC they install a generator, anything like that, because they know, well, if there's anything they need to do when they install a generator for us on our end.
On our end, we're trying to get the customers to install what you call a disconnect switch after the meter point. Mm-hmm. Once you installed a disconnect switch after the meter point, you wouldn't have to come to SKELEC to ask to remove the meter, to take out the load side, mm-hmm. and replace. What you will do, you will go to that disconnect switch, turn it off, mm-hmm. and then you could make all the necessary connections and install your changeover switch, mm-hmm. after the disconnect.
Okay, so all those things would happen after then. Okay, yes. So just do then, if the person install a generator, do we have to come in and do any inspection though, really?
No, we don't have
to. Okay, because that's something that's been asked.
The only thing about that situation is that some people don't have a disconnect after the meter. Mm-hmm. So they will come in and make a request to remove and replace the load side, mm-hmm. in order for them to install the changeover switch.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay, good. All right then, so then we pretty much cover most of that. I do still wanna touch up the whole, okay, there are persons still, because we still have some properties whereby the meter is mounted on the house, the property itself. I know there isn't much, and I know even within your houses that NAC is building and most persons are building, they don't really want the meter on the house, which is fine, which is the way it should go anyway. But there are persons who have the meter mounted on the house. What do they have to do to get the meter from their house, from
the porch
to the fence? What is their responsibility and our responsibility? Because I know they have some responsibility to pay.
Yeah, their responsibility is to get the electrician to make the necessary preparations to move the meters, to move, mm-hmm. the meter from on the porch to in the fence. He has to make the preparation and not to move the meter. He will make the preparation, and then we will work together, mm-hmm. and he will have to be present when we come to do the installation onto the fence for him.
Okay.
Because we have to remove the service line, bring it forward, and then he will have to connect now the original load side to the new load side, mm-hmm. that's going out to the fence.
Okay.
And we will remove the meter and the base and put it on the wall that he will construct on the outside in the fence.
Okay. So they need to do that. And then, so they have to then basically run
the pipes and the
wires and all of that, because that is their responsibility.
Right.
Because SKELEC is only up to the fence.
Yes, and another thing, the electricians have the tendency that when they're running the conduits in the ground, they don't go down deep enough. We look in between, let's say 12 to 24 inches down.
Okay.
And also you put some, you break some pieces of blocks and you, mm-hmm. put them on top of the conduit in the dirt.
Okay.
So, and then you cover it, because in any event that the homeowner is not aware of what's going on, mm-hmm. and they want to plant something, and they go and plant, and then when they hit, you have to be careful. So, mm-hmm. they should hit the piece of blocks
before they hit.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and now you said I want to add this though, because we've also had 2 outages, 2 damage to our underground cables where people are doing work, one over at McKinley region that caused an outage on the Sandy Point feeder about a couple weeks back, 3-4 weeks back, whereby they were doing what? Excavator scratched the cable, damaged the cable, we had to backfeed and all that kind of stuff. So we're just asking people to be careful when they're doing that kind of stuff. Someone sent a message from SKELEC to say that we should address owners and let them know that we need to have access to the meter, because we have issues where we don't have access to people meters. Some people, I realize, they have them in a fence, caged, lock system, and also letting persons know that they should tie their dogs.
Yes, that's correct.
Because I know directly, I've seen situations where somebody come into SKELEC and they was complaining and arguing and saying that we didn't read and then blah 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 blah. And when we look, and they actually said it that when they're leaving home, just leg of the dog. And we were trying to work with them because we said, okay, well, let's do two things. We let you know when we come in so we could get access to the meter to read it, or work with us and take the meter from outside, put it on your fence, at least we'll have access to the meter.
So that's one of the reasons why we want the customers to move the meters, make preparation to move meters from on the porch to in the fence, so we have easy access to the meter and we don't have to call you and so on. So that's a problem we keep having. Sometimes they give numbers for us to call. When we're calling, nobody answers. And then they will come back to the office and say, well, the guys didn't come. Sometimes the guy come.
Yeah.
There is another thing we're having is that we have persons from a long time have the meters on board. We're not into the board thing anymore. We're going directly onto the wall.
Okay.
And what happened is that what we are asking you guys is that when your meter is coming off the wall, we ask you to come in and you make the request, but it's a small payment of $50 to remove and replace the meter from off of the board, and we'll construct it on the wall.
And you put it maybe a panel or something.
Place it on the wall. Pardon me?
With a panel?
No.
Or dependent?
No, because we'll just put up a brand new base onto the wall and install the meter. So,
that's
we won't be having the meter coming off the board rotting and...
Yeah, because someone stopped me walking a day, and that was the exact same thing. She was telling me that her board is rotten, and she wondered, and I was like, okay, well, come in, but So now she knows she could come in, and that's the process that we'll be doing, because she was like, the board rotten, the meter falling off, and I was like, okay, well, miss, if the meter falling off, you're going to have to, address it, because if you fall off, hey, you're still going to be responsible. So, but yeah, so we just ask the person, if your meter is in any way coming off of the board, do give us come in. That's a lot easier. Come in, make the payment, let's come out, get it sorted out, because that's the most important. We just need to make sure that we have that part covered and your meter is working, so you have electricity service. All right, and we're wrapping up soon. Okay, so anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, that's basically about it in terms of metering for now. It's just that we are just appealing to these persons who are applying for supplies to make sure that all the necessaries are in place. A lot of times people apply for supply. We are ready. When we reach on site,
they ain't ready.
They're not ready.
Yeah.
And it's not easy for us to have to be driving over and over again. And then when you're really, really ready now, you're saying, I want my supply today. Can't happen.
Yeah.
We don't work like that.
And this another issue, one more thing. I'm living, how should I put it? I'm living on one side of the road. The line, the post is on the next side. But I want my power on the ground. As in, they don't want to see a line overhead going into the house. They want the power on the ground. How we handle that? Because it seemed like we've had posters saying if they're going to go to Public Works and ask Public Works to dig up the road, and then because we know we don't own the roads, we know we can't do nothing with the roads. We just come in to put in a supply. So the customer handles that end. Because
yes, that is not our responsibility.
Okay, so the customer handle that end, because all we're going to do is put up the meter on the fence, and however,
Well, in terms of the underground thing, that's something you'll have to come in to us and we'll have a discussion on,
Okay.
because definitely we're not going to approve a supply going underground and going up the pole.
Yeah,
right
okay,
now.
going up the pole. Okay.
No.
So the whole going up the pole thing is done.
Because what happened is that, let's say you have an underground supply. We are not responsible for the supply underground. You have to make that preparation. If the cable get damaged or the wire get damaged,
That's on you.
All we're gonna do is come and disconnect the supply for you, but you have to find your way out
Okay.
and get back to us.
Okay, good. So then we got that. So for the persons who might have tuned in late, we covered love baskets, whereby we went around the island and we gave baskets to 6 of our farmer workers. We gave baskets to 6 of our farmer workers. We also encouraging persons to continue coming and be part of our deferred payment arrangement, the DPA plan. Persons who are in arrears, yes, we are doing disconnections. I'm sorry, but it's just part of the business, just part of our businesses. We are doing disconnections. So to avoid disconnection, if you're in arrears, do come in and be and sign up for our deferred payment arrangement. About the whole balloons and going up in our wires, yeah, that's causing some issues. So we're asking persons to really be careful with that, because they can short out our system, which happened last weekend. And I think we covered everything that I think we could have covered when it comes to metering, about sign up for a supply, sign up for a temporary supply when you're building, sign up for a temporary supply if you have an event, if you want to go overhead or underground, stuff like that.
One more thing before we wrap up. Concerning the illegal part of it, with persons going into our meters and stealing the electricity, there's also a fine of $1,500 for any illegal connections to the supply.
Okay. Yes, so thanks again, folks, for listening. We saw we won't need to take 2 calls today, but that's how it goes sometime. We will be back next 2 weeks from now, and we will have another show. So thanks again. We asking everyone to have a wonderful and safe weekend. Take care.
When I wake up in the morning